Well, hello. Welcome to CiNEMACHiNE. I'm Al, and we're here with very special guests tonight. So we're here with Corinna.
Hi.
Sean.
Hello, everyone.
Both from Comeback Vinyl, which we'll get to more in a little bit. And, of course, Chris has been here before. Hello, Chris.
Oh, hey. Thanks for having me back.
You're welcome. Of course, Brandon and Ryan. How's everybody doing?
Great.
Hey, so many people here tonight. It's
I
great.
know. It's more the merrier.
Little
like,
Right.
as much as I am a little bit acerbic, we still like people, and people still come around. So it's very nice. So, no, Corinna and Sean. It might sound weird, but we tend to have favorites in life, and we have a vinyl shop here in Georgia, in Alpharetta, that we frequent quite a bit, and Chris has a history with, and I have. I don't know. I think I paid y'all's rent for about a month and a half there because I was addicted. Yeah, but no, a Comeback Vinyl out in Alpharetta, Georgia, and we just had the idea. Why not? We talk about you guys enough on here, so why not just bring you on the show and kind of put a face to all the hype? So, welcome to CiNEMACHiNE.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Yeah, so
Appreciate you coming.
It's gonna be great.
yeah, thanks so much. So Comeback Vinyl is in Alpharetta, Georgia, as we said. Is there do you want to tell people where they can find you and how they can find Comeback and everything?
Yeah, totally. I mean, we're located, we have a brick and mortar store located in downtown Alpharetta, of course, on the corner of South Main Street and Milton Avenue. But more importantly, we do have a website, comebackvinyl.com. I mean, we are we are an e-commerce business with kind of like a flagship store in downtown Alpharetta. So yeah, comebackvinyl.com is, you can pretty much buy all of our new vinyl on there. We have free shipping over $75. We have like a super awesome return policy. I really stand behind a lot of what we do. I think, we've come a long way in a pretty short time. But yeah, you can also follow us on Instagram at comeback_vinyl.
And I've got all these linked in the video. So
And we got 3 hearts from Kelly,
Who's driving from Knoxville right now, so she's risking her life to give you love.
Hey,
Careful.
vinyl nerds, love it.
And
So-
last time I was
She's in the
checking you
house,
guys out
yeah.
on Instagram, you were hiring, right?
Yes.
Still hiring, or
Oh,
you filled the
nice.
position?
It's not either one of your positions, is it? Just making sure.
Cool. Did you guys know about this?
No, not.
Oh, whoops. Hashtag don't tell Corinna.
Oh yeah, totally. If you're looking for a job, comebackvinyl.com/jobs. So you check that out.
Yes.
nice.
I wish I lived closer because not that I need a job, but I don't know. It's something your store. So here's the thing. I've been to so these guys got me into vinyl, okay, here in the last few months. I'm new, and
You wouldn't know it if you go to his
You're
house.
new, but you're also well beyond us in terms of everything else.
Yeah. I rival my freckles with records at this point, so I have quite a few. So, and I've had quite a few like conversations with the folks and come back like, do you have this? Do you have that? But my favorite thing about your website is you can say, hey, when this comes back in stock, please email me. And it's very effective because lately I've spent a lot, there's a few people on my Christmas list that aren't getting gifts now, is all I'm saying, because you guys came up with Grail albums that I've been looking for. You had Damien Rice and some Cure albums and such coming back in stock. So, yeah, so I'll tell my niece and nephews they're not getting Christmas because of Comeback Vinyl. But other than that, that's the only bad thing I have to say. So, but no, that's a great feature, and it's spot on. As a matter of fact, I was driving down the street, and Cure Disintegration came on, and I was like, oh, yep, okay. And I'm like driving down the street, like, don't see me, cop. And I'm just, there we go. And it just goes. So yeah. But no, I think that's great. And also the shop is very clean and it's very organized. So I think that's something that a lot of people that like records, there's some that I won't go in anymore because it's just too disheveled. So I think that's the unique. Do you guys really take pride in the cleanliness and the organization? Because even Record Store Day was very organized.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
I can't stress that enough. It's
Yeah.
Definitely just like, it's I think it's a really important thing to go into a record store and be able to know where, what you're looking for is going to be, but it's all about the ease of the experience for the customer and everything. And, I think it's, that's a really important part of it. And we just kind of want to, get rid of the stigma of dirty, dusty record stores,
Yeah. I can't. The first time I watched High Fidelity, the first time I watched it after getting the job at Comeback Vinyl, like I'd already watched the movie when I was like 18, 19 years old, and I idolized Rob and I thought he was great. Then I, flash forward 10 years, I watch it again after working at Comeback, and I'm like, oh, this is awful. Like everything's just like disheveled. There's like a little beaver just sitting for some reason just elsewhere. John Cusack's in the back smoking a cigarette, and like they're just shouting at people as they're walking in about like, why would you buy a pop album? Don't be stupid. Like, fun movie, sure, I get it, but man, that's so beyond our philosophy.
Yeah, but that movie's still fantastic. That's one of my favorites.
Movie still great. But it just like, watching.
I'm sure it gives you like
employee, it's like, oh no.
We don't want to be the Jack Blacks of Comeback Vinyl. We don't want to get Jack Blacks in there,
Exactly.
Right. Not working there anyway. So
we're all mostly. What is his name? Ned. The
movie.
The third guy, the guy with the shaved head.
Yeah.
I think we're all mostly him. Just kind of like soft spoken and cool, and just like
right. Well, you're
into recommending music.
And I mean this in a nice way. You're kind of like the Chick-fil-A of vinyl stores. Because I don't think I've ever come in there and seen anybody like in a bad mood,
My pleasure.
That's true. It's like, my pleasure. I did see somebody on Record Store Day. I was there, and Corinna, you were kind of directing people over in that little corner and whatnot, and you guys had the policy of come in, but don't pass the person in front of you, right? And the people that were out front, I think first got there at 9 o'clock the night before, 8 o'clock the night before. It was insane. I was like fifth or sixth in line, and I got there at like 3 or 4 in the morning. And the people behind me spent, it was 2 older men, and they spent around $700 each. And they were vigilant, like they were after stuff that nobody else wanted. Like there was just stacks of it, but they were just
you're talking about
big dudes, and they were just like rah, so they were like taking over. So but it was still well organized. You can't help some people, they just get excited. It wasn't a bad thing. Oh, you're the nicest human on earth, Corinna, we hear.
Oh,
well, that's nice.
High praise.
I mean, I'm
Sean, sorry. Sorry, Sean.
No, it's fine.
John, second.
Close runner up. Close runner up. Well, so let me ask you this. Did the habit, the hobby of vinyl collecting come first, or did the job at Comeback come first for you?
I have an answer.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, go for it.
You can say, yes, I did collect vinyl beforehand, but it only accentuated itself greatly after I got the job, of course. I learned a lot as well. Like, of course, when I started working at a record store, I mean, it was
sure.
Like, all of the resources were available to me, and it was a little bit overwhelming. So I kind of had to take it step by step after getting the job, and like kind of, develop self-control and everything. But yeah, beforehand I was, but I would say like a very like probably average, like beginner record collector. And it's only gone up from there. But yeah, had to develop a lot of control for sure.
Is it Sean? How about yourself?
Oh, I started collecting like fresh out of high school, like 2010, 2011, with like a little janky Jensen combination AM/FM radio and record player, and I eventually just like upgraded my system. And I got the job at Comeback after just years of bothering the crew of just like, hey, you guys hiring? Like just doing the whole thing. And it fell in, a couple years back that it just worked out. But yeah, I think similar to Corinna, I had maybe less than 100 records before I started working there. And right when I started working there, it's like, oh, well, okay. I like, I'll get this today and I'll get this. Like, it was like a record a day. And now it's purely a matter of like self-control of just like, do I need this week? Probably not. Cause it's like, I don't know. It was just, it's when you like a band like King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, dude, and they have an album for like every day for every 2 weeks. It's like, I'll just get this today.
Yeah, I see your Talking Heads back there. I see that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's
a
lot of collections
soundtrack.
It is indeed.
and that movie's on Criterion. Just saying.
That it is. Yeah, I have it around here somewhere.
Oh my gosh. Sean's after my.
Oh, I was a Criterion collector before I was a record collector. So
I am.
I
am sadly both.
Kicked off this show.
I am. My bank account says, "Oh no, Al's both." So, and this is Criterion month as well. So,
that it is.
All right. So I think it's only fair that we go around and figure out everybody's first vinyl purchase that they can remember. So we'll let our guest have a moment. Chris, do you know?
Oof. So I don't know if I can remember my.
It's
first
okay.
purchase.
Just whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I grew up in a household when I was younger that we had like a jukebox with 1,045s and we had a lot of records.
That's nice.
But I'd say, all that stuff got packed away as I got older. But the first one I can remember purchasing myself when I was in college, I think it was like the 30th anniversary of Paul's Boutique came out.
Nice.
I was like, I'm getting that. Yeah. So I bought it. I didn't even have, a turntable at the time. And it was just like one of my few prized possessions that I kept from being destroyed with everything else in like college life that moved around with me. And that was probably what sparked me of like, I need to go get like a turntable and like a few more records because I just kept having that Paul's Boutique.
How long after you got Paul's Boutique did you
years.
Actually get it?
I had it for years.
So you're just like, one day, man.
I was like, this thing's not even going to work. I don't know. Probably a terrible, like warped pressing. I don't know.
Just keep that Joker mint.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, it took me years to finally spin that thing.
That's one of my favorite ones that I've purchased so far. So
yeah,
I totally agree. And you and I go back and forth on Beastie Boys. Ryan, how about yourself? You're muted or something.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, I'm a little newer to the game. So my first vinyl purchase, I actually don't have yet. It's a pre-order. If you watch this show, you know that Brandon and I are huge Zack Snyder fans.
I had to ruin
so it. I purchased the Mondo Zack Snyder's Justice League vinyl. Still not here yet. But when did that come out, Brandon? Was that like
when did the movie come out?
No, the
March, right?
The pre-order. March. Yeah, it was.
I was about to say, if you don't know when the movie came out, then you've been lying this whole year.
I've watched it a couple of times, but this is the first one that I actually owned physically, and it's Batman vs Superman, so pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, it's still Junkie XL, right?
Yep.
Just Junkie
and Hans Zimmer. But
that's right.
And Hans Zimmer.
It's a combo.
We're snobs around here with this kind of thing.
Get it right, Sean.
I thought I didn't know you lost the XL. I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding.
Tom Hulkenberg.
Right. No, it's Tom Hulkenberg, but I hadn't been keeping up.
No, just kidding around. All right, Brandon, you're up.
Let's see.
Justice League.
The first. I don't know what my first purchase was.
Steel.
I know what the first vinyl I received, which was my first vinyl, and that was a gift from Chris. And I think he probably bought it from Comeback, if I had to guess. It was 2 records, actually. Batman 89 soundtrack. And Fleetwood Mac Rumors. So
also bought first Comeback.
First 2, yeah.
Nice.
So
nice.
First one I purchased in person was from an actual record store, was from Comeback. So that one was Hateful Eight.
They're not going to give us a discount, man.
And then the next one I'll purchase is also from Comeback.
But I returned it. So yeah. Okay. All right, Sean, we'll go with you.
I still have it. I purchased it at the same time I bought that same record player. But I bought this album because I was a sad late teenager in the 2010 2011, so I bought the Antlers Hospice, which if y'all don't know is a song about
Did you go to art school.
I got accepted to art school, which is close enough.
Checks out.
It's an album about an emotionally abusive relationship told through the allegory of a hospice nurse and his patient.
So what I'm hearing is that jacket has a few tear stains on it, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, entirely.
So
for that very reason, I bought the reissue for it.
Exactly.
Because
it
sounds
that
a lot
outer
better.
sleeve tight on there. Yeah, I see that. Okay.
Exactly.
Right. Well, we hope the tears have since dried. All right, Corinna.
First record I ever purchased was the Carpenters album. It was it still holds strong. I had the CD in my car for at least like 20 years beforehand, but just lovely.
I grew up on the Carpenters. My mom had the Carpenters playing at all times. As a matter of fact, we watched the movie of the week, the Karen Carpenter story, and it's a sad story. And I'm sitting here as a kid like, what? She died because she didn't like to eat? I don't get it. And so I just didn't get it. So, why is she doing that to herself? So I didn't get it. Chris gave me my first vinyl, and it's the Scrooge soundtrack. And we'll say the first vinyl of this
signed by Bill Murray,
signed by Carol Kane, and somebody else that we can't.
Bob Kane.
Bob Kane. Yeah, that's exactly who it was. Brandon's very jealous. So, no, but when I was a kid, I had, if it was Michael Jackson or Pink Floyd, I had it because my dad had the Pink Floyds, and I wanted to be Michael Jackson like every other person in the world. So, those were my first. Dark Side of the Moon was the first record I ever heard, because my dad. Yeah, I mean that's the only way we watch Wizard of Oz in my house. So no, I'm just kidding. But no, my dad just owned the original and actually have it now. So it's so it's pretty nice.
Very cool.
Yeah. So when I got back into this, my mom was like, "I got some of your records," and I was like, "Okay." And it's like they're not in good condition, Mom. Thanks. So anyway, well. Folks, let's get into this. We are talking about soundtracks on vinyl tonight. We're talking about soundtracks in general. So if it's not on vinyl, it's okay. I asked everybody to think of 3 or 4 soundtracks. Now they can be scores. They can be soundtracks that just have a bunch of songs. So if that changes things for you, I'm sorry. You can think about it. Well, we're going to play the Lonely Island. We're going to play the Deserted Island thing, not Lonely Island. They have records.
Lonely Island.
Yeah. So we're gonna play the Desert Island records that you would take, soundtracks that you would take with you to a desert island. So we're gonna go.
You're gonna embarrass Al.
I think you're gonna embarrass yourself. So, I think what we'll do is we'll do one around, and then one around. We'll do 3, and then we'll talk about one vinyl that you wish were on, like a soundtrack that you wish were on vinyl that's not, that you can't find anyway, and maybe the audience can help us find that, or maybe the comeback folks can help us find that. So we'll see.
They're so helpful. So maybe
he's still
seriously
still after that discount.
He is really after that. He's like,
chill out, man.
Got my eye on that box set. It's like
$500 guns.
We get it, Brandon. We get it.
Jeez. No, you know what? He's like, you know what? I don't want to go stand in line for record store day. I'm gonna ask them if they just put some behind the counter. It's against record store day rules.
Right.
So they can't do that. So, all right. I'm gonna start with Ryan on this one. Ryan, what's your first desert island record?
Remember way back like 5 minutes ago when I made that joke about Man of Steel? Yeah, this is it. Man of Steel.
There's a reason you'd be on that island by yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I'd be there. I'd be there with him.
Up Zimmer. Yeah. Thanks, Brandon. I appreciate that.
All the trees would be destructed.
Steel Bros.
Yeah, they're really in the same room.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yours is probably
like
not
on the screen at the same time.
Yours is probably like first pressing. Mine's like probably third or fourth.
No way.
Yeah.
Look at my hype sticker. Look at it. So,
That's exactly what I'm doing, and I'm proud of it.
All right. We'll go over to Corinna. Corinna, what was your first desert island?
Oh, number one would be the Rushmore soundtrack. I love Rushmore.
Okay, I think I made 2 new best friends tonight. Criterion and Wes Anderson. Are you looking forward to the French Dispatch album? Have you seen that movie?
Forward to it. I'm extremely excited.
Oh man, when they pushed it back to January, I got out of the movie and went to go buy the album, and it was like January 7th. I was like, so, and yes, I will be there to get Life Aquatic. Oh, there we go.
She knows what's up.
It's amazing.
She likes moss. I don't know what it is. So anyway, so all right, so that's a great one. Sean, what you got?
I'm gonna go with the one I have here on display. True Story soundtrack.
Okay.
I'm a massive Talking Heads fan, and seeing this movie, I think it was the first movie I saw last year, and it was my first time watching it, and I loved it. And the soundtrack is it's got a lot of variety, especially this edition. Like there's that True Stories like studio album that's just Talking Heads, but this edition that released with the True Stories release, with like every song and all the incidental music and all original songs. It's perfect. And I owe a lot to this album because it named my favorite band.
Radiohead?
You all don't know. Radiohead indeed. Yeah.
Yep.
Radiohead. Great song.
Brandon, maybe we can just go full-time Cape Cast and Alan, these guys can handle Cine Machine.
Hey, comeback. The comeback. It starts with a C. We only do shows that start with a C for some other reason.
That's right.
So, yeah. So, well, that's great. Yeah, that's a great movie. And little known fact, if you buy the Criterion, which is on sale at Barnes & Noble this month for 50% off, you get the soundtrack inside on CD. So
that you do.
There you have it.
I gave it to my girlfriend for her car because we both very much enjoy this movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, now you don't have to cry to art house albums. You have Talking Heads. It's very nice. All right, Chris. How about yourself?
So let me say that I'm always spinning it on my comeback platter. Everybody get one.
Oh boy, what a start.
Yeah.
Brandon's like, yeah.
I hope no one's playing like a
Brandon,
drinking
You get
game
it.
for every time you say.
Well, I'm always holding my comeback to go bag whenever I
So-
fill my mouth.
I'll start with the Beatles' A Hard Day's Night.
Okay.
This was actually my mom's copy from when she was little.
Nice.
Not was like
Very
she's
cool.
dead or anything. I just stole it from her. But this one's pretty fantastic. I think if you're a Beatles fan, it's a must. Not just the tracks, but the way that they're laid out. I think it's
Mhm.
so yeah. It's
I
my
like your sound effect.
my first one.
There you go. All right. Awesome. So we got everybody's first except for mine, right? I'm going to go with Judgment Night here. And I got the orange vinyl. This is one of my favorite soundtracks from when I was a youngster. I got a hype sticker too, Ryan.
Yeah, it's not as cool.
This is all the popular bands from like the 90s with the popular rap artist of the 90s, and they team up for one-off songs. And Chris actually bought this after I kind of hyped it up quite a bit, and I think you enjoyed at least some of it. I don't know.
Yeah,
if you
for
enjoyed
sure.
all of it.
I think it might be like the best run DMC track ever on there.
It's one of them for sure. But I'm a Faith No More nut, so anything that Mike Patton really touches, I'll pretty much buy. Yeah, that's why I would take that. It has a little bit of nostalgia, but it also has a lot of the bands, so I can get a lot of the bands. Plus that movie, I don't know if it holds up. I haven't been able to find it to watch it, but I used to love that movie, so that works out. All right, we'll go around 2 here.
Well, I got to give mine because I didn't touch.
Oh, I thought you did Man of Steel.
No, I was just showing that I also have it.
Well, you're off the island now. Anyway,
I had it.
Fine,
here.
you can do
I had
4,
it
Brandon.
in the queue to talk about in case it came up, but that's not
It
my
did.
Desert Island vinyl.
Well, apparently it's not good enough. Okay, what's your first desert island?
So, first Desert Island. So we're gonna do multiple.
What are we talking about? You just said I didn't do mine.
I thought we were just doing one Desert Island, but
No, we said
if that's the case, we can keep going because it is on
and then
there.
does not pay attention to the rules of the game.
I thought we were just picking one and then moving to a different question. My apologies.
These are really complex rules.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Go ahead.
now you understand why we had to reschedule. So anyway, Brandon just learned what a calendar was. So, all right. Our second desert island. We're going to do 3 of these, Brandon. So
Thank you.
keep up. Yeah. So
Thanks for clarifying.
So Man of Steel was your
Everybody's
first one.
done one. Everybody's
Right?
done one.
Man of Steel was your first one, right?
I guess so.
Yeah.
We're 2 Man of Steels.
Yeah,
Man
I'm
of
not going.
Steel.
I would rather drown in the water on the. Yeah, yes, like so. Men of Steel. All right.
Wow.
It's starting to sound like a new chip.
So we're doing 3 total.
Oh boy. You wonder why 6 people watch. So anyway, Ryan.
That's 7, Al.
Oh,
all right?
sorry, 7. Thanks,
My mom's talking.
thanks, Corinna's mom. And feel free out there to tell us what your desert island list would be. Give us 3 of your desert island records that soundtracks that you would take with you. Okay. All right, Ryan, your second. There we go. Brandon's got to keep up. It's ridiculous. Brandon's the kid, like, you didn't give us any homework.
He's really visual, guys. You have to go with it.
Can somebody just hold up one for me?
Yeah.
All right.
Desert Island vinyl counter.
Yeah. Your second, Ryan. Your second desert island out of 3. Your second of 3.
Speaking of Al wanting to drown himself, The Matrix.
Yes.
Just kill me now. Just stab me in the ears.
All right. Can you guys please tell Al he's insane? Just so it's not just us telling him that he's insane. He hates The Matrix. He hates it.
He hates many things.
Exactly. Those are the faces. Those are the faces that I wanted to see.
I hate it.
I don't want to derail the whole episode, but I do want to know your reason.
No, you don't.
I just
There's
don't.
an episode of that.
It's just not. Yeah, we almost ended the show over it, so
We'll
we
see
won't
the
talk
link.
about it.
I'll go in the backlog. I'll find it.
Like,
Yeah.
you'll see a hard cut in the middle where we had an argument.
He's not lying.
I watched it recently. It was amazing. I was laughing so hard.
Like, you'll see us all like, ha 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 ha.
Ryan, does that one end with "Wake Up" by Rage Against the Machine? That's on there, right?
Honestly, I don't know if I've gotten to.
No, he wants to take it on Desert Island. Doesn't even know what's on it.
I would think it's got to be.
Yeah, because that's
Why
No,
not just
I
buy
think-
the Rage Against
Is
the
it
Machine
score or
album?
soundtrack?
It's score.
Okay.
Then no, it's not on there.
Yeah,
Rage
I
Against the
don't think
Machine
that-
didn't score the movie.
I didn't remember
Yeah,
that.
sadly enough.
No, it's not. It's not.
So yeah, it
Big
had
fan, are ya?
Dragula, it had "Wake Up." Oh man.
Yeah, I popped this one on right after the spun it for the first time, right after the trailer for Resurrections came out, and I was like, "This, like, I had to go watch the movie. I just had to do
Yeah.
it. This was just an impulse I couldn't control."
I mean,
I did the
Everybody
same
hates
thing.
themselves.
I totally understand.
Yeah, that and it's pretty nice, pretty green vinyl.
Ooh.
Fluorescent.
A beaut.
Who
Yeah.
pressed? Is that Mondo?
It is not. This was a record store day.
Probably
I want to say,
Water Tower.
Oh,
I'd imagine.
Let's see.
just
It's
Guess-
Warner. Yeah.
guess where he didn't get it, guys. I mean, you can hate him now.
Mm.
That's
Now you hate the Matrix. So
right. I imagine it has to be Water Tower.
Yeah,
Well,
probably is.
as our research team figures that out, we'll move on to Brandon. This is number 2. Don't
Number
show us Man of Steel
2.
again.
Not to be
thanks,
confused with number 1. My number 2 is Inside Llewyn Davis.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh,
I love this soundtrack. I just recently watched this movie with Al not too long ago for the first time. It had been on my list forever.
On Criterion.
On Criterion, yeah. And struck a chord with me. And I
see what you did there.
I love every song on this soundtrack.
Yeah,
And it's probably my most played vinyl that I own. So
has anybody else seen that movie on the panel?
I
I'm
I
a,
have not.
mentioned
I
my
have-
favorite scene in that movie is when Adam Driver, it's super subtle, but it's hilarious. When Adam Driver is like putting a cat in a car. He just goes, and then
Oh,
like 1,000 times. It was the funniest thing I'd ever seen.
Yeah. That movie is so well acted, direct. I mean, it's just it's I'm not gonna say it's a perfect movie, but it's near perfect movie in my opinion. Just the tone and everything of it.
Yeah.
I'm a
Plus, if you have any kind of musicality in your life, like musicianship, or if you know a musician or whatever, it strikes a little too close to home. But it's like the serious Spinal Tap. So yeah, it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we're gonna go to, I believe we went to Sean. I think we went Sean, then Corinna, and then Chris, right? So Sean, you're second.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna make a little presentation out of this, and I'm willing to make an argument because technically, it's not a movie. It wasn't shown in theaters, but it is a mini series that runs up to 2.5 hours. Okay, and it's all a continuous story. I think it's perfect. It's Over the Garden Wall.
Okay,
and I don't know if any of y'all have seen this. If you haven't, it's on HBO Max. It's on Hulu. It is.
Well, we want to thank Sean for coming.
Right, we weren't allowed.
I'm just kidding.
I'm willing to make an argument. It is a perfect soundtrack. Every fall equinox, I throw it on to celebrate, fall coming in. It's full of folk music, old kind of hymnals. It's about it's just this precious little cartoon, premiered on Cartoon Network. I want to say 2014. And it follows these two brothers into the unknown. They get lost, and you're trying to figure out the mystery along with them.
Sounds spooky.
And it's spooky. It's perfect for fall. You guys are in the right time to just throw it on. Like I said, it's 2.5 hours to get through. It's the best thing Cartoon Network's ever done. And the music is perfect. It's done by a group called the Blasting Company. And every track is just a delight to throw on. And this is currently, if I can flex a little bit, this is my, I think, most valuable record in my collection so far, because it's the Mondo pressing, and it's this very gorgeous yellow and orange splash.
Nice.
And it was pressed last year, and never again. I'm not giving out my address. But yeah, this is one of my most prized possessions, and that's definitely going to the island. Even though an island is not very autumn-like, I understand.
Yeah, Sean, you've been knighted. Your stream was knocked down by Brandon because he disagreed with you for some odd reason.
It happens. It happens every week.
That's what you call a CiNEMACHiNE tantrum.
Yeah,
quite often I am dropped.
It's the hazing process.
Yeah, Brandon likes to play God. So, all right, Corinna, your second desert island.
Right. Number 2 would be, and this is also, me and Sean kind of went over some of the answers to our questions for this, and this was one of our similar answers. So just, I think we have a little similar opinion on this one. But my number 2 is probably going to be Swiss Army Man.
Oh yeah.
And right. I actually want to get you guys' opinion on this, because I had a debate about it the other day, because I technically think that it could be considered a musical, but a really crappy, gritty musical. Probably the worst musical ever, but still classifies as a musical. Because, technically, it is original music that they do sing along to. And
I think you're onto something.
So, another reason to hate me is I don't like musicals. It takes me out of the movie. But I'll say this.
Al's allergic to joy.
Yes.
Yeah, I was born a redhead. So anyway, but it didn't take me out of the movie, so I don't consider it a musical technically, because it didn't take me out of the movie. So
it was all about you.
I don't even remember. It's been a while since I've seen it.
There was singing along to the music, and the music was relative to what was going on in the scene. There was literally
I vote musical.
Yeah.
Settled.
It's
you heard it here first.
I don't know.
It's one of my all-time favorites. I don't know if I agree.
I think the title of this needs to be, is Swiss Army Man a musical? find out here. I mean, I think
Yeah.
I think
That's
we're
our
gonna,
clickbait
I also
title.
think
There'll be
Find
so
that.
many clicks.
it is
Yeah.
perfect
Both of them.
or Desert Island soundtrack as well.
yeah. Well, I mean, technically,
It's perfect.
That is
It's
a desert. That's a
nice.
perfect desert island because it's on a desert island.
Yeah.
I mean, you're meta with this, Corinna. So I see what you're doing here.
You know, I study.
Greece. Okay.
Oh, that's my mom.
Nice.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, Grease was up there for me at one time.
Al hates that movie.
Yeah.
It's my little
Sorry,
sister's
Mom.
favorite. It's my little sister's
Yeah.
favorite. No. Well, thank you for tuning in and playing along. Chris.
Ooh, my number 2. I'm gonna go with the old Benny G trio.
Dude,
Charlie
I'm
Brown.
right there with you.
Oh,
I'm right there with you.
I don't-
Christmas.
You could
I
take
love
the Christmas
Christmas.
tracks off of it, and it's still an amazing around the year
It's-
jazz
yeah.
album.
What version do you have there? What variant?
Oh, yeah,
This
there's
one's a
all-
few years old, and I got it in green.
Okay. I've got it in gold swirl.
Oh, excuse me, but this one is the
Real
light.
gold.
Sounds delicious.
That is a great album.
Fantastic listen.
That's a fantastic. And I am a Christmas nerd beyond belief. Like,
Yeah, I saw that poll you posted to our YouTube
yeah,
like a week ago. He said,
I'm
"Is it too early to start watching Christmas movies?" There were like 15 votes. They were all yes, absolutely.
No way.
thank
Yeah.
you, Corinna.
No, I was playing
Very
that
good.
album like November 1st. I threw it on, and it was a
Oh, I'll spin it in July.
I will listen to Christmas music
it's great.
all year round.
Oh.
Fight me. I don't care. It's fantastic.
awesome.
Nat King
If
Cole,
you walk into
best
Comeback,
Christmas album ever.
Mhm.
What?
if you walk into
Thank you.
Comeback any point from November, the day after Thanksgiving to New Year's Eve, there is a 1 in 3 chance that we will be playing Vince Guaraldi trio. It
Well-
is. We'll have it spinning constantly, and it I love it very much.
There used to be this band, these two bands that would play down at the Earl, and I happened to catch them one year. And one band would play Vince Guaraldi, and the other one would play the Beach Boys Christmas album, and it was total surfer rock and everything. Oh my gosh, it was fantastic. Go over to Holy Taco, then go over to the Earl and watch that. It was the way to start the season. So, all right. So, Brandon, you feel like you got your second one in there? I can say mine now. You're good. You,
Yep.
Still
I'm
understand
good.
the rules? Okay.
Yep, go ahead.
So I'm going to pull a score out. I am going to pull out one that so my uncle was Danny Elfman's agent for a while, and
Cool.
he sent me all of the '89 Batman stuff early. So I used to play with my toys like da 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 da, and so I actually got this at Comeback. I got the blue, but this is one of those albums that I've had it on cassette, CD, vinyl, downloaded. I mean, any way I can get this, I love this album, and it's one of my absolute favorites. So, Danny Elfman, and recently around Halloween, Danny Elfman, along with Billie Eilish and some of the original cast from Nightmare Before Christmas, did a live show in Hollywood and did all the music for Nightmare Before Christmas. And then Danny Elfman got Oingo Boingo up there to do Dead Man's Party, which was a little awkward, but it was fun. So, all right,
Yeah,
third
I
and
watched
final
a few clips
desert.
of that. It's pretty good.
Yeah, Desert Island, number 3, final. It's the last one you're taking with you. All right. All right, Ryan. That's for Brandon.
You gave me a nice little segue there, Al.
Oh,
The
there
Dark
you
Knight.
go. Yeah, we all got
This
that
is-
recently.
Yeah, and it was kind of especially for Brandon and I, have to own score. This thing is, if any of y'all have listened to it yet, it's like thundering to listen to. Like it rumbles.
Mhm.
And as you can tell, based on my other selections, I'm a big Zimmer fan. I'm bummed I missed out on a Interstellar score at my local shop down here a couple weeks ago. But yeah, I'm just a huge fan of this movie. This was probably my favorite theatrical experience ever. Saw this in IMAX the night it came out. So it was
And
that
we
was
saw
an
him
easy decision
live.
to purchase this one. Yeah, we did.
It's all Zimmer live.
We did.
and
That was an awesome show.
That was a great show.
That was so cool.
You saw a
Oh,
lot of
imagine.
people turn into children that night, which was great.
Yeah.
Like everybody just kind of left their adulthood at the door. Like,
Yeah.
Lion King. It was great.
It's true.
Yeah. All right, Brandon. Last one you're taking with you.
Last one. Okay, sure.
No dingy.
My last one is The Last of Us.
Ooh.
Fitting, right?
Ooh.
I see what you did there.
This is a Mondo release, and I didn't get. They have like a infected version that was sold out, so I didn't.
Oh, you got stuck with the black.
I have the burnt
Did you get the charred
pumpkin version, which is just regular vinyl. Yeah, it's awesome. This is my favorite game in the world, and one of my favorite stories in the world. And so, the music is such a great part of this game, and it's very moody guitar driven, like acoustic guitar, and it's amazing.
Brandon's
It does have it's a very I can't put it on when guests are around because it's a horror game, so there's lots of very
Another spooky
scary moments, but
Yeah.
there's also some good melodic moments.
I
in
love
there
how
too,
they're
so.
like Al is void of joy and everything, but Brandon's island is like the saddest, like
The misfit
emo
toys.
island ever. Like there's just, like Tim Burton made his island. So
I don't know. I mean,
there's
Man of Steel's pretty uplifting.
There's a lot.
so
There's a lot of hope in that movie. Yeah, you're right.
It's all about hope.
It's true.
So
It's true.
Oh yeah.
not an S.
Yep.
If you're wondering.
Correct.
Okay, we better get him off that for the anyway, Sean. What's your third?
All right.
And final.
Since you opened it up to scores, I had soundtracks prepared, but since you opened it up to scores, I had to grab this, which was a score that the moment I saw it was available to purchase, I immediately picked it up because it's one of my favorite scores of all time. I think it deserved the Oscar it won. And it's from my favorite David Fincher movie. It's Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross's The Social Network.
There you
Nice.
go.
This is this not only is the score just perfect, but the record sounds amazing, and it's gonna be my gateway into getting into Nine Inch Nails, because it's so textured and so well thought out and so well done. And that one rendition of "In the Hall of the Mountain King" from the regatta scene is it's so good. But yeah, that is I play that whenever I have to do something on my computer that concerns a lot of thought. I throw that on because I feel I'm hacking and I'm trying to I make everything that I'm doing in that moment much more important.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm down for anything Nine Inch Nails. So Trent Reznor. So
Yeah.
and I would say he's written a lot of the soundtrack to my own life there. So Corinna, your final desert island.
All right, number 3. We're on number 3. That's
Yes, ma'am.
It Follows.
Okay.
It,
Ooh.
Of course, around spooky season, I listen to a lot of horror movie soundtracks, but I do I always listen to Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween and whatever. So it's all the 80s horror movie soundtracks that sound very similar. And when I watched It Follows for the first time, I wasn't sure how I felt about the movie the first time I saw it, but I watched it multiple times, and more I watched it, I liked it more because when I watched it for the first time, I was like, this soundtrack slaps. It's really good because it's really similar to those 80s synth type horror movie soundtracks and whatnot. And it has so many different homages to that, and there's a song on there that's really similar to the Psycho, or whatever, but
YouTube won't strike us now. Appreciate that.
But and then I watched it again, and I was and as far as the movie goes, the timeline is really ambiguous, and the director doesn't really want you to know when the movie is set, because that kind of gives you an unsettling feeling too.
Right. And
so I watched it and I was okay, during the very calm parts of the movie, it kind of sounds like I'm exploring some sort of fantasy video game or whatever. And so I did more research about it, and apparently the guy, his name is Disaster Piece or whatever, but that was the first movie score he ever did, and he only worked on video games before that. And I was oh, that makes total sense. But it's actually like, it's a really, really good soundtrack. And I think the first time I like actually listened to it outside of the movie was like on a dark ride home. And I was like, oh, like this is.
Lock the doors.
You felt like you needed to make better
This was a
decisions in
mistake.
life. Yeah, so, like, oh no. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Yeah. That movie is it really runs up your spine a little bit. I'll say that. It you really need to take a shower afterwards. You're like, oh, I feel gross. That movie just makes you feel gross.
Kelly, don't put that soundtrack on the way rest of the way home.
Yeah. Don't text and listen to
rearview
It
mirror
Follows.
looks like.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a good one. Chris, your final.
All right, my final. Well, I'll say there was a couple that I was gonna go for, but I thought some of you guys were gonna take them, so I didn't want to be redundant. So Scott Pilgrim almost made it.
Okay.
And Pulp Fiction almost made it.
Yeah.
Now I know we're doing scores. I might have done Big Trouble in Little China.
Ooh.
I remember a couple years ago, Corinna, you told me an original pressing came through the store. I missed it. I have a Mondo version, so it's okay, but I'm still a little sad about that on a daily basis.
You can tell he's over it.
Well, my third is the Atomic Blonde soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Can't say I've heard that.
The Mondo pressing, and it's a pretty cool, like, transparent and pink, cool. Kind of a swirl thing going on.
Interesting.
But this movie, I don't think got the right marketing campaign. It was almost pitched as like a John Wick with a girl.
Yeah.
But it was not that, and it's a shame that it was kind of pitched that way, because I think a lot of people didn't bother to see it, or if they saw it, they were expecting something totally different. But it was just kind of like this Cold War 80s Russian era thing going on. And there's some great 80s tracks on here and some very interesting covers as well. So
Brady Hunter said,
hi, Brady.
Hey, Brady.
Brady said that Big Trouble in Little China Mondo pressing is a great sounding album.
It is.
Yeah.
It is
and
great.
Then Kelly said Big Little Lies soundtrack.
If that was a movie, I would have gone for that. I think the series itself is like fine. It's cool, but I really like that soundtrack.
Mm. Well, I too had a couple. It was hard for me to like kill the babies on this one, to leave them in the boat. I could have easily gone for, and if I had my candy corn edition of Halloween 2018, if the guy on eBay didn't send me the wrong one, that would probably be up here tonight, because I'm addicted to it right now. And Ryan's like, that's so terrifying. And it just sounds like a watered down 9 Inch Nails album is what it sounds like to me. I would go with The Shining, the Mondo Shining 7-inch, but it's only 2 songs. So it's a little eerie. And I need a little happiness on the island. So I'm going to grab something that, yeah, unlike you, Brandon, I love happiness. And I was going to say Vince Guaraldi. Actually, I was going to say that, but I don't want to double up. So our islands, our neighboring islands will be fine.
Okay.
I'm going to bring out Mr. Cat Stevens, Harold and Maude soundtrack. Got it at Record Store Day, yellow. This is one of the happiest, most relaxing albums you can ever hear. Has anybody here seen Harold and Maude? Has anybody seen the movie? This is one of the most uncomfortable but pleasant movies you've ever seen in your life. It's about like a high school kid dating like a 70-year-old woman. It's very awkward. So I could have easily said The Wall, but it's a technicality. They made the movie after the album. So so I'm going to stick with Harold and Maude soundtrack, Cat Stevens. I have spun that one quite a few times since I purchased it, and I liked it beforehand because I liked the movie. All right, so now we're off our desert island. We're all
we made it,
landlubbers again. Yeah. I burn easy, so I'm glad to be back. The thing is now we want to talk about an album that might not be on vinyl, that might not be readily available. Maybe it's one that just costs way too much for your budget. Maybe you've never seen it available. That's what we're going to go with now. What is that one record that you soundtrack, score, whatever you want, that you wish were available? Okay. So I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to go with Sean first on this one.
Okay. the one answer I had written down, I hate to double up, but it is the Swiss Army Man soundtrack, because that is I think it was pressed once and never again, and it's very expensive right now. But if I could do a movie that we haven't discussed yet, I want to do Little Miss Sunshine. I don't think I've ever seen a physical copy of its soundtrack, but it features, Devotchka. Yeah, Sufjan Stevens. I think that's another soundtrack that works extremely well with the movie, and all of the, mood and tone and everything is covered perfectly in the music. And I would love to have that. I would play it all the time. I love that Devotchka score so much.
Okay, awesome. Let's see, Chris.
So there's one that I got that was not hard or not easy to find.
Okay.
I kind of lucked out.
Okay.
So that would be the Samurai Champloo soundtrack.
Oh.
So this one, I think it was like a very, very limited pressing, and you just couldn't find it. It was like $200 to get a copy of this.
Wow.
But then some random warehouse found like years later that they had some inventory. I don't think they knew what they were sitting on, and then they just kind of dumped it to their eBay store. And somebody on a forum, when I just happened to be looking, had just posted like, yo, this eBay seller has some copies that they found. So I got one, and within minutes, like all the rest were gone. So that one for me is like...
Did you have to... I'm not asking what dollar amount. Did you have to spend a lot?
No, I didn't spend a lot at all.
Okay.
They just didn't really know what they were sitting on. So I got
Nice.
like a very normal price.
I love stupid people.
That's
nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one that I got. That was like a little bit of the rarity. And then one that I would hunt for. I know that it exists, but the pressing has been a little tough, and the price as well, is the Waxworks Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 90s movie.
Oh,
Ooh.
okay. All right. Yeah, I saw that. That went pretty quick, didn't it? Yeah. I love that movie so much. Tear from my childhood. All right. Corinna.
So my one that I'd really, really like to have that I haven't found obviously anywhere physically is actually a video game soundtrack for LA Noire. I love that. It's it's the perfect kind of jazz. It's like that noir, like driving, down the street as like some, 1940s like detective smoking a cigar, trying to solve the case.
Humphrey Bogart.
Oh,
I mean, yeah.
Perfect.
So do you like noir movies as well?
Not really, not necessarily.
Not really. Okay.
But I like the video game a lot. But there is a TV show I used to watch that is actually, it's called, oh gosh, it was the dad from A Christmas Story. He used to be in this detective TV show or whatever, I can't remember what it was called, but it was hysterical. It was just pretty much him solving cases of like these weird monsters, but it was like really, really poor like film quality and like budget and everything. So it was kind of hysterical, but that's probably the only other like noir type like TV or movie I'd ever watched before. But the video game LA Noire is a blast, and it's really, really, it can be pretty funny sometimes too.
Could you make that answer longer? Kelly has asked us to elongate this show by an hour and 27 minutes to make her drive a little easier. So
Ryan also typed LOL when he clearly did not. LOL.
Yeah. Yeah. Liar. No, that's cool. If you do want to see a good noir movie with like that whole feel, In a Lonely Place is a good Bogart movie. It's a great 40s noir movie. So, all right. Brandon.
I was trying to think of some.
You remember what we're doing?
I was having trouble finding. Not necessarily that they haven't pressed yet, but Kill Bill Volume 1 is one of those that I've had trouble finding cheaply.
Is that by the RZA?
Yeah, Quincy Jones had the. I mean, he cultivated it. He like kind of coordinated everything. He did some songs on there, but like Quincy Jones did that main sound.
Yeah, a lot of like Volume 2 is pretty readily available, but Volume 1 I've had trouble with. Home Alone
Really?
is another one. I know Chris has Home Alone.
Home Alone.
Mondo.
You can get it on Amazon right now.
Okay.
They have a special edition. It's a Christmas
Pizza swirl?
swirl. Yeah,
Is it
But
the
is
pizza
it-
or is it a new swirl?
it's a new.
Because I've
swirl.
seen
It's
like
golden,
a
green swirl. I think.
it
Anyway,
didn't
it's
seem like
on-
it was John Williams. It was like in a inspired by thing. I don't know if that's the same one.
like a kind
Um,
of like a yeah.
It's like knockoff because they have that like knockoff Tarantino
The Atlanta
one.
Symphony Orchestra performs.
Yeah.
John
Oh,
Williams.
that's another one that's like hard to find is 2. I think they pressed that once in really low numbers. They never did a repressing.
Christmas
And they've only
Vacation
done like
is
inspired ones, I think.
Christmas Vacation is nearly impossible to find for
Yeah, I've looked for that one too.
cheap.
Yeah.
Uh,
So those would be probably some of the ones. And honestly, right now for me, Batman vs Superman is so hard for me to find one that doesn't have a defect on track 3. Like I'm sending a second one back
The
now.
text messages I get from Brandon. It happened again.
Yeah. Defect in different places on the same track. But yeah.
so Brandon's not just shaking you guys down for a discount. He also shakes people down to make sure he gets his refunds. So he's a powerful guy on this 6-person panel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan?
Mine would be Lord of the Rings.
That's a good one.
My hands down my favorite movie music ever. And it's just to find a used one, it's $300 or $400, and that's for one of them.
I passed up new copies that were like really low priced a couple of years ago. I was like, I'll get it eventually.
No,
And they were so
I
cheap.
was
They were
gonna
giving
say-
them away on Amazon for a while.
We had a copy of Return of the King on our wall. I want to say for like a year and a half.
We discounted.
Still there?
It was it
Yeah,
was there
no,
for
not
a
any longer. Someone finally bought it, but it would haunt me. It would just stare me in the
Yeah.
face. Not to say there's nothing bad about it. I think it's what James Newton Howard,
Sure.
right? Beautiful score.
Yeah,
Howard
but-
Shore.
Howard
They,
Shore.
uh,
That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean the music.
Yeah, for
in
going
those
to a
movies-
different store, Ryan.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Ryan's never been to Comeback. So
I'm
shun
not
him.
alone. Yeah, I'm over in Smyrna, so it's a
We
trek.
deliver
you know.
nationally, man.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm telling you, hit their
Yeah.
website, and if it ever comes back in, new anyway. I don't know about used, but new, they'll
yeah.
hit you up.
new for sure.
Totally.
Heck yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's chill-inducing music. So that would definitely be my pick.
I keep getting ads for one of those, like what we were just talking about, some other symphony, some New Zealand symphony performing Lord of the Rings on vinyl, but not the original score. But,
Well. I'm going to say Pan's Labyrinth by Javier Navarrete, the score. The whole time I was in college, I played that album. Like, if you can wear out a CD, I wore that CD out. Seriously, I listened to that so many times. It was just so relaxing to me. I could focus on projects. It was just the background of at least 5 or 6 years of my life. Not that I was in college that long, but it's just one of those soundtracks that I think it's great atmosphere music for anything, even if you don't enjoy the movie, which I don't know how you couldn't enjoy that movie, but it is a bit brutal for some. But the emotion and the subtleties of that score, it's just one of those beautiful scores that I think a lot of people love, but it also, I don't think enough people know about it, to be honest with you. And I've tried listening to some of his others, and they're good, but that is like fantastic. That is pristine. So Pan's Labyrinth. Everybody's seen that movie, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Chris, you haven't seen that?
Mm-mm.
I haven't
man.
either.
Do you not want to?
No,
I know. I just never got around to it.
Oh man.
I was like, I'm not in the mood to read. Let's watch something else. Ninja Turtles again.
What an American. What an American.
Like, I don't even have to read the subtitles anymore. I'm just like, yeah, I know what they're saying.
Yeah. So, Chris, I'm going to send you a gift. I'm going to send you Pan's Labyrinth Criterion Collection.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll watch it.
I'm going to send it to you. So it's a
a good
great
one.
transfer. It's a great movie. And if you don't like it, that's fine, but you get the movie for free. So there you go.
All right. I did want to note, Al, that I did look into that Home Alone swirl thing, and it is like, I was assuming it's like inspired by a bunch of cover songs from different people. Unfortunately.
Oh, it's weird because they had it like they were making a big deal out of the pre-order and everything, and it was like $30, $40. So.
Yeah. Mondo sleeve for their version is pretty awesome too.
Yes, I know. Next time I'm at your house turn on and off, and you see it missing when I leave, you might know why.
Thief. The Wet Bandits got your album.
Sticky Bandits, part 2.
Just saying. All right. So if we're talking about soundtracks and everything, we're keeping it in there. What is the absolute worst soundtrack you've ever heard? I think like there are some, let's put it this way. There are some soundtracks that just don't fit the movie that they're in. Okay. So if you could take one soundtrack out of a movie and maybe replace it with another composer or another soundtrack or whatever, what would that movie soundtrack be? And you can say if you what you would replace it with, or you don't have to. Does it make sense, everybody? Okay.
Yes.
All right, Brandon, go first.
I don't know. I don't have an answer.
I'll answer for Brandon and myself. The theatrical cut of Justice League.
Oh, well, that's a good point.
Swear it's like
Put
a married
that one out
couple.
of my mind.
They finish each other's sentences.
Soundtrack, yeah. Score. I was thinking music cues, but yeah, score for sure. That's Danny Elfman at his worst. So
yeah, there's a reason he's doing stage shows now. I mean, he just keeps watching it. Tim Burton doesn't have enough movies for him to do. So that's another reason. All right. Since y'all both answered, we'll go with Chris.
So it's not really a movie that I care about.
Yeah.
That I'm like, if only they changed this to make it better. But I just remember like, every time they would play something, or at least one time that really got to me. But one of those Amazing Spider-Man movies with Andrew Garfield, I just remember like a lot of the songs. I was like, can they just turn this off and like do nothing instead? So that'd probably be it for me.
Were you thinking of the Pharrell track that he did with Hans Zimmer in the second one?
No, it was something when he was like in his bedroom trying to be inspired, and it was like, very current poppy song was. That it was like, exactly this is not going to age well. Yeah,
that was that. What was his name? Philip, whatever.
Yep, I think his name was like Philip, like
something like that. Philip Phillips,
something. But yeah, I didn't like that at all. So that was it for me.
All right, Sean.
If I can modify the question a bit to my will,
sure.
This is a soundtrack that fits the movie perfectly, and I hated the movie too. It's
just murder it all.
The soundtrack for Baz Luhrmann's The Great Gatsby. I think I know it's extremely Baz, but it's just the way it tries to mash up 20s era swing and 21st century hip hop is just it's a mess. Funny enough, it has my favorite Lana Del Rey song on it, but apart from that, it's just I can't manage with it.
My sister-in-law had that soundtrack, and it was stuck in her car player, like her CD player.
Oh, no.
So I heard that quite a bit. I actually don't mind it personally, and I like.
All right, same song.
Yeah. All right, Corinna.
Yeah, I think this isn't absolutely terrible or like horrendous or anything, and the movie's actually not that bad either. I just think that in The Room, I think that the soundtrack was really dull and just kind of like meh, and every song kind of sounded the same. And I feel like they had a lot of potential for like a really cool soundtrack in that movie. With the one with the woman and her son stuck in the room, not the
Room.
Yeah,
because I was thinking The Room. Tommy was saying, I was like, yeah, that soundtrack is pretty bad. There's a lot of other things bad about that movie too, but when you said it was a good movie, I was like, no, she's not talking about The Room. She's talking about Room.
Yeah, no. But if I had to replace it with a different soundtrack, maybe like a Clockwork Orange or something, some like synthy classical music with like, you know, like sunlight coming in for the first time. I feel like that'd be pretty interesting.
Okay.
I don't know.
I could see that.
Yeah. But
yeah.
I liked the movie a lot. I thought it was interesting, but I just thought the soundtrack was a little wet.
Yeah, that movie was full of good performances for sure. Unlike The Room. But I mean, it's a pretty good movie. I'm gonna go with now. I'm gonna kind of build this up a little bit. The same person that scored this movie, Bernard Herrmann, also did North by Northwest, Vertigo, The Day the Earth Stood Still, Psycho. So it's got a pretty good resume. But the original Taxi Driver score is god awful. And it takes you out of the movie so many and that's a great movie. It's a fantastic movie. It's not as good as Joker, Brandon says, but it is a great movie. The first Suicide Squad movie has a terrible soundtrack, in my opinion. Okay.
That's I've got the movie on 4K if anybody wants it.
Yeah. I would actually.
Thanks for coming on, Corinne.
I think it's a terrible soundtrack in that it doesn't match. It just feels very forced. I think the song choices are good. Like as a soundtrack of a bunch of music that's good to listen to, it's a good mix of stuff. But yeah, I agree. It doesn't make sense for the movie.
Are you talking about Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
Well, like, is anybody familiar with what I'm talking about with Taxi Driver? It's like the flutes and
it's like
like weird first year jazz music out of Juilliard. It's like really strange. I don't know. It just totally doesn't go with it. Brandon we sat down and he saw Taxi Driver for the first time just a couple years ago, and it was just so apparent. We were both like, like I had seen it 100 times that and never really paid attention to it. But when you're sitting there and plus Brandon has a theater with all the surround sound and whatnot. So you're really focused on it. And it's all, and he's all like, no way punk and all that stuff. So you're like, oh, good Lord, this is terrible. So it just juxtaposed way too much. So I wish they could rip that out and put in something retroactively, of course. I would like to hear like a Mike Patton. I don't know if anybody's ever heard Mike Patton's Fantomas band, but he does he does an album called Director's Cut where he does heavy metal versions of all sorts of like the Godfather theme and Rosemary's Baby, The Omen and such. So it's very good. If anybody wants to go out there and check it out, it's very Mike Patton though. So you have to have that appetite. So
you could just take Hildur Gudendottir's score from Joker and just throw it on top. It'd be real nice.
Don't wink at me. So all right. So we went through all of that. Let's talk more about just vinyl in general. Okay. So let's talk about one album that you would say is, at least for a season of your life, maybe the soundtrack for that season of your life. What would you say that is? This is a pop quiz. This is not something I gave you guys previously. Sean's setting up. He's got 1,000 records around his feet, it seems like. Did you say you have one, Chris?
I did not.
Okay, I heard somebody's Don't worry. All right. So we'll go with Ryan first.
Oh man. Trying to think. Honestly, if I was gonna pick something, it would probably be Hybrid Theory, Linkin Park.
Okay. This is just what season of your life would this be?
So this
Braves
was
World Series.
This was actually the first album I got on CD.
Okay.
And I got it because it's very funny. I was going in to get like teeth pulled, and I was really nervous about it. And the doctor was like, it's okay. You can come in. You can listen to a CD. And my mom's like, you hear that? We'll go get you a CD on the way home.
I'm surprised you don't have negative association with that album.
No, I was doped up. I was good.
Yeah. Did they put you to, so you just listened? You were still awake, but they just numbed you down?
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Yikes. Ugh, that sounds exciting. So that makes me hurt. All right, Corinna.
I would say about a year ago,
Okay.
I really, really started liking Nirvana out of nowhere.
Okay. All right.
It was a surprise to us all.
I didn't even like it. And I was like, nah, it sucks. And then I listened to In Utero, like in its entirety, and I was like, wow, these guys are really good. And so I kind of like for God knows how long. I was like, man, I can really relate to this. So I probably listened to it during a lot of Nirvana during a lot of my free time because I feel like I had a lot to catch up with, and just kind of packed it all into one really dense few months. And I kind of worshipped them for a second there. And I'd say In Utero would be the soundtrack to my life for about a month and a half a year ago.
Very underrated album, I would say, at the time that it came out, because the critics hated it.
I was a critic once too.
Oh yeah.
But now
So have you grown tired of Nirvana since you packed so much in?
not at all.
Okay.
Still love them.
30th anniversary pressing coming out
Oh yes.
of Nevermind.
Yeah. Might want to get it if you still want the naked baby on the front, because he's suing them.
Yeah.
Although he has
Nevermind tattooed on his chest.
He's reenacted that picture like 15 times for money, but now he was, a victim. So that he can't get any more money out of it. All right. Well, that's awesome. All right, Sean, I see you feverishly digging over there. Do you need some time?
I'm really trying to pinpoint something.
I didn't know I was gonna shut you down, man. I'm sorry. We'll go with Brandon. We'll let you dig a little bit more. Okay?
He's flustered.
All right, Brandon.
Just any season, I guess. Just like
Creed, which album?
whatever. Well, yeah. I mean, it's gonna be as far as like youth. It's gonna be Creed, My Own Prison. And you guys at Comeback don't have a Creed section. What's up with that?
We get human clay in.
They said they like to keep it clean.
I'll get right.
Okay. Yeah.
They probably got a Limp Bizkit section, right?
No. I don't know if Limp Bizkit's ever pressed.
You don't have the dad vibes on vinyl? He's going again.
Sean.
That's 2 strikes, Sean.
Came back.
Not sure what's going on.
I'm gonna say, I guess gotta have it the same. As of recent season of life, post kid, I'm gonna say something that we've had on repeat at my house would be
Ace of Base.
Either Susto, which is a local band out of Charleston, kind of indie. They actually played over in front of Comeback not too long ago. Chris and I went and checked them out there at the Square. Their self-titled album or anything 21 Pilots. Like 21 Pilots has been on repeat at the house for years now, because it's just something like I really enjoy their music, just everything they put out, but it's also kid appropriate. Like there's no like explicit lyrics, nothing that's gonna like I have to like run over and like censor. Yeah.
Not a Jesus, like having
Nani's
a Nickelback
on fire.
section. What's that?
Oh, Nani.
Oh, you're going up
I think
against
you
your
do
cake
have
cast
a Nickelback
boys.
section.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
It's called the Discount Band.
Yeah. So one of those two, but yes, and Creed.
Yeah, Kelly
Always
said
repping
she was
Creed.
there, and she's offended you didn't say her name.
There you go.
She had to pull over to
agree,
text
Brady.
us that.
Thank you.
She's not illegally texting, is what we're hearing. So, all right. So Creed or Susto or
Just 21 Pilots. Something like
so we've gotten a couple seasons of Brandon's life. So, Sean,
I made a decision.
Okay.
I narrowed it down to one. Yeah.
I didn't mean to stress you out, man.
No, it's okay. There's just like such like a broad question in terms of like
Sean's accepting an Oscar that he wasn't prepared for right now.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: Sean's going to kick himself tomorrow for 5 bands that he didn't say, and Corinna's going to have to hear about it.
Redact this whole episode.
I have an idea of what artist Corinna thinks I'm going to talk about, but I'm not going to talk about that one.
Who do you think?
Hold on. Let's hear it. We gotta get her to guess.
Well, it's either got to be Radiohead, Manchester Orchestra, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, or John Stevens. Anything that a guy who went to art school would like.
Okay. It's none of the. Well, it is.
I went to
something
art school and I said Creed.
Yeah.
It is actually Talk by
Sigur Rós.
Yeah. They are they've been one of my favorite bands since high school. I remember discovering this album senior year and just being obsessed with it. I wrote my UGA admissions essay on Hopi Podla. I did not make it into UGA, so that might have something to do with it. But
they accepted Creed. That's what Brandon meant.
But that is a record that I closely associate with myself, like exploring different kinds of music outside of like indie and alternative in high school, and I love it dearly.
Did you see them at the Fox a few years ago?
I've never seen them live. That's a dream show. I know they don't play much of the stuff they played from this era, but I can only imagine. I would love to see them.
You don't see their faces throughout the whole show. It's just darkness and a couple lights on like it almost looks like Christmas lights arranged, and
that's perfect.
They're like layered and it's
I'm also a Godspeed fan, so I expect that also.
Okay. Well, I think Sean and I just became best friends. We're gonna go some shows together.
Good. He needs friends.
Absolutely.
Don't talk about Sean that way. So, Chris.
Now he's never gonna get that
discount. Chris.
I'm gonna go with Wu-Tang Clan. Enter the Wu-Tang.
Oh, snap.
So that's one I listened to a lot in college. It started to come back in my life recently. My jiu-jitsu instructor is a big Wu-Tang guy, and he plays it 4 times a week when I'm there. Kelly and I just started the Hulu series, kind of going over the formation of the group. And that's one vinyl that I wanted to get a while ago, and I wrote terrible reviews about the pressings that were available. Kelly tried to surprise me and get me a copy once, and I was like, let's try it. And it was bad, and we sent it back. And I've never done enough research if they came out with a better pressing. So I guess that one kind of hits like another.
At least you tried, Kelly. At least you tried. That was nice of her.
Hard enough.
Hard to please.
So, folks that come back, make sure you hit Chris up if a better pressing of Wu-Tang comes out. So,
That's probably a good question for you guys. How do y'all deal with that? Like the whole bad pressing, like type, like I guess, do you like fill those out as far as what you keep in stock? Like if something historically has a bad pressing, do you just avoid carrying it, or do you still carry things that are in that category?
That's a good question. So neither of us really do the new vinyl buying. However, in regards to that, I mean, if there is something that has like a notoriously bad pressing, I mean, it's also like typically the people who are purchasing that kind of already know that, so it probably won't sell a lot,
Sure.
So I guess that would be kind of an effect to the cause of,
so
if it doesn't sell a lot, then we probably wouldn't, buy too many copies of it. But as far as like, if we hear that, something with a bad pressing, I don't believe we would just not buy it for the store, because people are still looking for it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people are just diehard artist fan, and they'll just buy the vinyl and not.
Yeah. I just want to have it on my shelf kind of thing.
Exactly.
So Brady had mentioned that he had a pressing of Wu-Tang, and the tracks were all messed up, and there was some
that's something I think I read about the censoring was
surface
like
noise.
The way that they initially, because they mixed it and everything themselves, and it was kind of like a little bit of a grassroots movement and kind of underground at the time. And I think I remember reading it was like everything available was censored, and I think the same thing happened with Das Effects.
Okay.
I got their album, and it's also censored, and I think
Chris
it's
is
the
street,
only
if
way
y'all
it's
didn't know.
available.
Yeah,
I am.
he's street. They're not a Universal artist, are they? By chance?
I don't think so.
They're global. Everybody, everybody likes them. Universal.
Well, at least Ryan left. So, no, the Universal had that big fire and burned up all those masters about, I don't know, 7-8 years ago, and it was like detrimental to the music industry. So there are a lot of classic albums. That's why I ask. A lot of classic albums that we'll never hear. Well, that we'll never hear, like, you know, the Mo-Fi or anything like that version of. So it's kind of upsetting. So, well, I hope you get that one day, Chris. Otherwise, we'll just hire the RZA to come to your living room. So,
thank you.
I'm gonna say mine would be Beastie Boys, Check Your Head. RCA. Okay, so there's hope. There's hope. So yeah, Check Your Head. I still don't own it because it's way too expensive for me to own it. Chris owns it, and he owns the green variant or something like that.
I think it is. I can't remember. I think Ill Communication might be gray and Check Your Head might be green. I can't remember.
Ill Communication's gray, and so that's one that I really want. But I was privileged enough to see Beastie Boys in concert, and it was just life. It was one of those things that just kind of was life changing for me. So changed my perspective on like music in general. Because I saw them. I knew that they made all their own music. I knew all of that. But those two albums, I kind of see them as like a Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. They're really just a double album separated by just a couple years. So, but if you haven't watched the Beastie Boys, I guess you can call it a documentary on Apple TV Plus. You really should if you're a fan of the Beastie Boys. So, well, I don't know. That's where I take this into. I think the soundtrack of our lives is always changing, as we saw. Sean's had many seasons. We can tell.
Yeah,
he has a lot of the store on his floor. We can tell where his paycheck goes.
They're on shelves. I want to make sure they're on a nice.
He sits on an upper shelf himself.
Alex shelf. Store them properly.
No, I'm just kidding around. No, but I do have one final question for everybody, and if there's one soundtrack that you think somebody should own, maybe it's one you named tonight, maybe it's not, this will be our final question. If you think everybody should own one soundtrack, if they only own the one on vinyl, we'll keep it specific to vinyl, what would that one soundtrack be? Okay, all right, no panic in anybody's eyes. I gave you this question earlier so you could think about it. All right, Corinna, I'm going to start with you.
Ooh. I would say if you own one, it would need to be 2001: Space Odyssey. It is
okay.
So it is actually, and this surprised me when I heard this. It is probably the most popular selling album in our store as far as used soundtracks go.
Really?
Yeah, which surprised me too. But it's also like the first, I believe, 30-45 minutes of the movie has zero dialogue.
Right.
It relies extremely heavily on the soundtrack. And I mean, like, it's not necessarily something that you want to put on for, like, a cocktail party or anything, but
right. It's really intense cocktail party.
but it is like, it's really amazing, and it fits the movie extremely well, and it's really dramatic, and I think it's just something that, something to listen to with headphones for sure.
Yeah, that's true. It sounds like you're a Kubrick fan, at least. Okay. See, I'm a Shining nut, so
great soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful.
It's good. It's good. Might have to have you on for my Kubrick show one day. All right, we'll go with Ryan. And Brady said Purple Rain, by the way.
Saw that.
So you can't take that one.
Sorry,
You
Ryan.
can.
Can't say Purple Rain. His mic's muted.
You can't say anything because your mic's muted.
Sorry, I'm trying not to blow my nose in the dealing with a little head cold.
But just show it to us. It's okay if you don't.
Are you just going to pick the album that hasn't shown up yet? That first purchase of yours? Everyone should own it because no one can own it.
Right. I don't know. That's tough. Like I honestly, like I don't have a ton of soundtrack vinyl. Most of my stuff's score.
Well, it's okay if you do score. I'm saying soundtrack score, whatever you want.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean,
And Corinna did a score.
the
There's no
low hanging
hip-hop
fruit for me
on
is BVS.
2000.
I'm sorry, Al. I'm sorry, Batman vs Superman.
No, I understand.
Uh,
You're a slave
Do
to
you?
one man. You're a
Yeah.
slave to one man. I get it.
Yeah, I mean,
That Lex
I
Luthor
absolutely.
track.
He is the blueprint.
It's true. It's true. Brandon, unfortunately, will never get to listen to that Lex Luthor track on vinyl.
There we go. That's the one that skips.
Right. Yeah, that would be my pick.
As Brandon starts rocking back and forth, that's the one that skips. Like he's like,
It's probably my favorite track, and so it is a deal breaker if that's the one that has a problem.
Somebody asked me the other day, like, if you were like a professional wrestler or something, what would your walkout song be? And I was like, Lex Luthor's track. They're like, what are you talking about? I know you play it for him.
Coming.
That would be fantastic.
Right?
Oh man.
Number 2 would be Mariah Carey's Fantasy.
yeah, exactly.
Those are 1 and 2. Yep.
Exactly. All right. Okay, so we've got Snyder covered tonight, guys. All right, Sean.
All right, I'm actually prepared for this one because I talked about it earlier. I'm going with True Stories again. I think, like I said, Talking Heads are just a gift of a band, and I think the soundtrack is full of nice melodramatic pop songs as well as like super fun, energetic pop songs. Yeah, I think it's like a perfect little like it encompasses all like the emotions of life, and I think it's would be a delight to have on.
I'm right there with you. It's a fun album.
Yeah.
It's heady at the same time. No pun intended.
Mm.
And we'll get to Brady's comment in just a second. But if you haven't seen this movie, I strap yourself in for a weird ride. It's totally David Byrne directing and everything. But John Goodman's fun in it. It's very early John Goodman. So, but it is a great soundtrack. So yeah, I'm right there with you. All right. Go with Chris.
Okay, so the movie itself, I wasn't a huge fan of, even though it seemed like everybody else was.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say Queen is one of the greatest bands ever.
Yes.
And I do think that the Bohemian Rhapsody soundtrack is probably the best of collection.
Is it Queen performing or
yes,
is it?
Okay. It is Queen, and they even do their little like guitar riff of the 20th Century Fox as the opener for it.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's the best collection you can get of best of, because I think there have been a few best ofs, and certain tracks have been missing from ones and others. But I think this is
Writing
like the
it
best
down
collection to get.
Awesome.
Because I do want some Queen, so that's good advice.
See, we're helping people. One album.
I wrote Social Network down.
I've written
down.
down.
He's in Royston.
So maybe.
That Man of Steel one.
That's right.
Yeah,
I got that one.
Yep.
Did we talk
Wrote it
about Man
back.
of Steel? I missed that.
Somebody say Man of Steel.
The Hank Williams Jr. record, Man of Steel.
All right.
I keep seeing that one whenever I was looking for Man of Steel vinyl, and I had my eBay search like saved. I kept getting the Hank Williams Jr. Man of Steel record.
Like, not this one.
Did you say me, Al? It's my turn.
I did.
Space Jam.
They want to or not.
Nice.
Just kidding. I do. No, I love Space Jam, but that's nostalgia. That's a nostalgia pick. I don't think I would buy that. I mean, maybe I would. I probably would. I love that. I remember lowering my basketball goal when I was a kid and doing dunk contests to that record.
He likes the sequel better.
I was so disappointed when I found out that Seal did not, in fact, record "Fly Like an Eagle." That was I didn't know it was a cover.
Yeah, same.
What a bummer.
Yeah, there were a lot of songs back then that I thought were original that were covers, and my dad knew the like choruses. I'm like, how do you know this? It just came out.
Dad's clairvoyant.
A soundtrack that I don't own on vinyl yet, but I love is Forrest Gump. A soundtrack that every time I hear these songs, I think of that movie. Like they're always going to be associated with that movie. And it spans so much time. So you get a lot of different decades of music in there. So I think that's a must own for people, even though I don't own it yet, but it's on my list of ones to buy. Another one that I do own is going to be Scott Pilgrim.
Nice.
This is, I think, one of the Ramona Flowers editions. So it's got a pretty little green vinyl. Yeah, it's a great soundtrack. I don't think this one is pressed very well as far as the mix is a little flat. But maybe there's earlier ones that were better, but this was just, the latest one. So but yeah, I enjoy the soundtrack a lot. Lots of cool little punk songs, and it's got like the little some of the dialogue from the movie like interspaced in between some of the tracks. So it's cool. And I know that a lot of people went crazy about the Brie Larson version of that Metric song recently, and they re-released it. That is not on here, so it's got the original.
I do like that version the best.
I do too, but it's not on there. So yeah, Scott Pilgrim.
Awesome. I am going to pick an album that it's one of my favorite movies of all time. I love the movie.
The Matrix.
Spot on. I got my long duster.
Revolutions.
But this album is actually coming out finally on vinyl on Record Store Day, Black Friday. And I'm super hyped about it. So everybody make sure you line up at Comeback Vinyl for this one, but leave me a copy. It's going to be Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. Because
Bowie.
You got French acoustic versions of Bowie songs. You have Devo. You have a little bit of everything in there. It's also just one of those movies that if you don't get it, you don't get it. But if you do, you're in for a fun ride. Yeah, Brandon doesn't get it. Not enough Creed. So
soundtrack's still great, even if you don't like the movie.
Yeah, the soundtrack is fantastic. It has a lot of classic rock on there, and plus it has all the David Bowie covers. That if you've seen Birdman, you see the drummer throughout. Well, you actually see this guitarist in the movie a little bit here and there. So it's a great movie, great soundtrack, and I am super hyped to get it. So
I'll go with you and get a copy.
Yeah, there we go.
Me and a group of my friends went to see Life Aquatic in theaters when it came out, and I didn't know anything about Wes Anderson, didn't know anything about his films, and I just saw, it's got Luke Wilson, he's funny, and it's got Bill Murray.
Oh boy, you thought really it was like Wedding Crashers or something?
Yeah, I just thought it was a standard comedy, and I was like, "What is this? I don't like this."
It's greatness. I went on a date to see that movie, and it didn't last much longer than that. So, neither one of us saw eye to eye after that.
Ping Island theme is still my ringtone for the past 17 years.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So, is anybody else a Life Aquatic fan other than myself and Chris on here?
Absolutely.
Okay. Look for that special edition on Cape Cast coming soon. So, well. Let's tell everybody where we can find Comeback again before we get out of here. So Corinna, Sean, just tell us where everybody can go and find everything about Comeback.
For sure. Yeah, comebackvinyl.com. That's our website. And comeback_vinyl is where you can follow us on Instagram. And of course, that's one of our core fans, of course. And we're also on Facebook as well. Also, just want to clarify for this coming up Record Store Day, we're not going to be selling Record Store Day products, but we are going to be doing a holiday sale from November 1st to January 8th. And we're slashing a lot of prices with super popular titles and everything. And we're doing a cyber sale for really popular titles on the weekend of Black Friday. So
Nice.
So as far as Record Store Day products, you can go to recordstoreday.com and see the list of stores that are participating, but we won't be doing it this Black Friday. But
there you go.
And luckily, Life Aquatic soundtrack is an RSD first title, which means we won't have it on that Black Friday, but when it's going to open up more stock after Black Friday. So we will be getting it at a later date, and you can bet most of the staff will be picking up a copy.
Oh.
So we got to keep talking for 55 more minutes. Kelly has a longer drive. so,
Just rewind it, Kelly.
yeah.
So back to why Al doesn't like the Matrix.
Yeah.
I'll just send her the link to that episode.
Um,
She'll get here. She's like, I don't like Al anymore.
Not like this. Not like this.
Al doesn't know that that's a Matrix reference.
I don't get it.
But he hates it anyway.
Yeah, I knew I hated it. So, well, that's great. So I'll be checking out all the sales coming up. I did get the emails recently about the few 50% off, up to 50% offs that you have going right now. So, but no, thank you so much for stopping by. It's going to be totally different when we see you in the store now. It's not going to be awkward when I just wait around. Hey, can I talk to the manager? And so, yeah, so there's no restraining orders involved this time. So it'll be good. Chris, thank you as well for joining us again. Always fun.
Have me back.
Yeah, and we'll have to have you guys back as well if you're
sure.
ever interested in coming back for this
Happily, yeah.
craziness. And of course, always Brandon and Ryan.
Thanks for having us, Al.
A show. Anyway, well, thanks everybody for tuning in to CiNEMAChiNE. Make sure you go back and check out Comeback Vinyl. You
All
know where you
links
can.
are in the video too.
There
to
you
their
go.
site and social.
And there you go. And we want everybody to make sure that they get all the vinyl soundtracks they need. Make sure you get all your Christmas albums that you need, because 'tis the season to be jolly all year round. I do love joy, just not the Matrix. So until next time, continue to listen to a lot of vinyl soundtracks and vinyl soundtracks that can be part of your life, and watch tons and tons of movies. We'll see you on the next CiNEMAChiNE.